Yay!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the monthly live chat, November 2023. As you can obviously tell here, we are joined by the talented and lovely Andy, the voice of everyone, nearly.
There's a few of them.
Yeah, you have a voice? It's okay. We have an Andy. We have every voice.
there's definitely a reservoir of them, that's for sure. Reserve? Reservoir? Both. Both. We'll go with both.
Yeah, I mean, both will work in that case.
Yeah.
Um, so quick rundown recap for those people who are watching this later or who are already here because they're eager to be here because Andy's here. Um, what? That's a accurate statement if you ask me. Um, we just published. Oh wow, Lux Voice. Uh, 7. Yes, Rail Laid Plans. Last month was the 25th of October. It is doing okay. It is underperforming, which I thought might happen with the series over the last few books, and it looks like the drop off that I was hoping would not come has actually come. One of the reasons why book 7 ended where it did is because I thought it might happen, which leaves me going into 8 fairly strong for how where the series is going to go. Book 8 for Lux Voice might end up being the last of that series because ouch. If I can't pay everyone I pay and pay mortgages and stuff, then I have choices I have to make.
Valid.
Sad, sad, but luckily this series is in a good spot where I can move forward and not feel terrible about things. I've come to the realization as a slice of life writer that I need to be able to have those moments kind of baked in so I know what I can and cannot get away with if I have to. The next book up, though, will be the ever loved Binding Words. It'll be Binding Words 11, Divine Agreements. It is currently slated, I believe, for January 1st. We'll get it out before that. We always do, but that is where it currently sits. I was talking to Andy about recording schedule because she says I have a slot in December available,
Yep.
and my next slot with her wouldn't be until February.
Yep.
So if things go right, I'm probably going to give her Binding Words to record in December, and then we will get Lux Voice recorded come around in February. I know that's a little out of sync, but honestly, for the for the audio fans out there, I'd rather you guys get Binding Words and get that conclusion so you can talk about it with everyone else instead of being like, well, he finished the series, but thing. So instead of waiting an extra couple of months for that audio, we're going to try to move the scheduling around to get it out to you. This way, you're not waiting until, let's say, if you recorded it in February, it'd be like March-ish into
Yeah.
April, depending on ACX.
Yeah, depending on
So,
ACX.
so we're going to game the system a little bit and try to not make you wait so long.
Woohoo!
Does it say December 23rd in the FAQ? That must be the. I don't think I updated the other one then. Okay, so December 23rd currently apparently is where I'm looking at Binding Words. Things are always in flux with me. I always push my release date out and then drop it early because that's better than being like, well, guys, sorry, it's gonna be 2 weeks later than I originally thought because that's what I don't want to ever do if I can help it. So, and then after
Yeah, who
that,
would do
I have
something like that? That's
um,
horrible and
I
disorganized.
mean, it's not like at least I'm not, making you wait 3+ years for the next book in a series. I'm just saying, not gonna call like major trad authors out or anything. Just saying. Um, so, and then the next book, which I am after Binding Words that I am already writing, is Aether's Revival 8, Proven Strength, where I know that the many, many fans who have been waiting forever to find out about Darkness will finally get to know the question about why she was so upset and worried in book 7.
I made Daniel tell me.
Some
I
so,
asked him.
somebody pressured me, was like, I will not read the
I
series for
want
you anymore unless you tell me. And I was like, whoa, whoa, that is the worst
exactly.
blackmail, Andy. What's up with
I
that? And she's
threatened.
like, I need to know. So of course I caved because I can't have a voice walk away on me. It was just terrible. will I do then? Um, so that will be the book after Binding Words, and I'd say look 2 months after Binding Words for that one. So if it's December, it would be like late February for Aethers to come out. So hopefully the recording schedule will float along with everything else, and it'll be basically caught back up come the end of February with Andy having recorded things. But that will be her schedule and life, because when you get sick, it can kind of take like a month away from you, Andy.
It's horrifying. It is absolutely horrifying. It's the accordion from hell. Fortunately, after the end of this year, like this is my big, this like end of this month and the beginning of next is like my big trying to fix everything, and then it's over again. So
I was about to
that was
say
a
it was
big
it was
crisis.
supposed to be worse though, but you had
It
a
was.
project back out on you.
Yeah, I had a 3-book series back out in the fall, which was horrible. But at the same time, oh, thank God that happened, because if it wouldn't have, it would have been an even worse disaster than it is. So,
Yeah, for those people listening to Andy record live, if you think she's panicking over what she has on her plate now, just imagine trying to add 3 more books on top of that.
I
I'm
was
pretty
losing
sure
it.
I'm pretty sure her head would have exploded, and not in the fun, happy way that you try to get those things to happen.
No, not in the fun, happy way. Don't get bronchitis, then get better, then go to Dragon Con, and then get COVID for the first time at Dragon Con and be sick for 3 freaking weeks. Do not recommend, because it will be a catastrophe to deal with scheduling wise.
I'm about to say you lost a solid month.
I did. I lost an entire month.
Just from the sickness, not including Dragon Con. You had a family vacation in there as well.
No.
Because you had time
No,
off
my
because
sister came to visit. Yeah,
yeah,
my
you
sister
had
came out here to visit. Yeah.
family vacation.
Yeah,
You were off.
that's true.
If you add all of that in, it was nearly 2 months of just dead because of reasons.
Yep. Yeah, it was July and August. Well, July and September, because it was 10 days in July and then like almost the entire month of September. And it's like any one of those things individually would have been perfectly fine. It's just all of them happening at once created a massive problem. That was not good at all. That was not good in the least.
But you're working through
So,
it. Things are not in a terrible place at the moment.
Yep.
Do
Yeah.
you think?
It's actually, yeah, I'm not in like a terrible position at it's really not. It's just nose to the grindstone cleaning up the rest of it. That's it.
So the wow, words. I'm gonna go over here and hit a question because words just failed me. The book after Binding Words is Aethers. How much time is this book going to cover? A year like the one before? Arctic, it'll cover whatever time length the story covers. That's like asking me how many books are going to be in a series. I'll find out when you do. Well, actually, I'll find out before you, but I have no idea until the characters tell me. So I can't help you there. I cannot quantify that for you in any way, shape, or form.
Sometimes I wonder if Arctic has a weird schedule of spreadsheets and things that Arctic keeps in the background, because Arctic asks very detail-oriented scheduling questions and stuff, and I'm like, what are you doing with this, Arctic? What are you doing with it? That's what I want to know. Where's it going?
No, see, I think it's something else. I think that if they do that, it's just for the sole intent of causing people chaos and confusion.
Exactly. There's chaos spreadsheets. They are chaos spreadsheets. They have to win the cause.
He is known as the Troll King on at least one Discord server, as a Bear Troll on another. He's just living up to the one word that carries over from like every Discord server he's on, which is troll. So you know,
he inflicts mental agony in a playful manner on a regular basis. I think that's the definition of troll. I'm pretty sure that's it if you look it up. Yes, he has a conspiracy board. Like it's always yes, exactly that. Just the red strings going everywhere. And for some reason it has Daniel's release dates and how many chapters I'm going to do in a day on it.
I wouldn't be surprised in the least, honestly. I mean, the weirdest thing I got hit with was today. I got a cold. I would say call, but it was Facebook Messenger. I got the cold call on Facebook Messenger for a Amazon ebook marketer who was trying to sell me their services, but doing it in like completely terrible, broken, not sure of themselves. I'm not really trying to sell you something, but here's my website so you can see what I do. It was just the most awkward
A marketing person that can't
moments.
market?
Yeah, it was like you need to work on this.
Yeah,
You
this
I,
is
I
not
wish I wish you the best of luck later in life, but you need to work on this.
you need to revisit some plans possibly if you can't talk to people.
It was awkward. It was totally awkward. I do have somebody that says they love the voice you gave to Xander in Antecedents, because
Oh,
we
thank you.
we know how much you love those deep,
Oh,
gravelly,
God.
masculine voices for your main
Yeah.
characters.
I can only have one Xander Brawly type character every once in a like, I have to keep those spaced out with, like, only one series at a time can have one of those characters, because integrity-wise, I can't let it go, they need to sound a certain way, but at the same time, the end of that book, my voice is hammered by the end of it with how much dialogue there is, so it's also because there's so many dudes in Antecedents too. Like that's most of the military people and like all of that. Like there
Mhm.
it's a lot of male characters. Then Aethers is the same because Gregory is like doing shit. Gregory's off with his men and stuff. So
That was yeah. That was book 7. Book 8. We get into Kroga. So good luck with all that different accent and stuff. I'm sure
yeah,
it'll be fine.
it'll work out.
At least nobody's called.
Yeah. I could but cut sit but gut.
So at least the names aren't that bad. My question is, how are you holding up after being on all the panels at GuildifyCon? I'm fine. Like this only kills me for like the rest of a day, and then I'm back to normal like tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's just the spoon theory of social interaction. This eats all my spoons, and then I'll go to sleep and I'll get my spoons back. So, I mean, that's just how it works, at least as far as I know. So, but I do
Same.
have Anteciden's Legacy. I should say probably Spork theory of social interaction.
I like it. I fully support this. I don't have enough sporks.
Did you ever get the assault spork for Hayes? You said you were
No,
thinking
I
about it.
totally forgot about that. I need to get that for him. It exited my brain as soon as I saw it. I need to get that for him just because it'd be incredibly useful.
I'll remind you later. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's made by K-Bar, but the knife is a serrated blade, so it's not a K-Bar, but
Yeah.
it's made by K-Bar. So I
Yeah,
was
he
really
has a couple of
disappointed.
knives from K-Bar.
I was really hoping for like just a miniature version of a K-Bar inside instead of a serrated knife, but serrated knife does have its purpose, especially if you're pairing it with a spork. So
Just a little tiny one. That's a missed opportunity right there. I'm
I'm just
sorry.
saying
That's a missed opportunity.
I was like, oh, it's just a serrated knife. Oh,
Mm.
that's okay. I was so excited. I was like, oh, it's made by K-Bar. This is gonna be amazing. Serrated knife. Oh,
Just a regular one.
okay.
Dadgum steak knife.
Okay. But I mean, you are currently you're dual recording books, aren't you? You have 2
Yeah.
books. You're doing one in the morning, one in the afternoon.
Yeah, I'm dual running because when you're working with like outside publishers that have like teams and stuff that are working on things, you don't have the option of just like telling them to wait. So I have to work on two books at once because one of them has a very firm deadline and the other one there's people waiting for it. So like there's people like the proofer and stuff is waiting for it. So I got to give the proofer something to proof and I've got to keep going on the other one to try to get it out. So it's my favorite way to record. So enjoying that immensely, but that's okay. It's working everything out. Nose to the
In
grindstone.
in at the end of the day, though, you'll have finished recording them roughly around the same time,
What do you mean?
right? So if you just recorded one and then recorded the other book, you would finish that in the same time frame as doing part of the day in the morning here and then part of the afternoon. No?
Nope, they're
Okay.
different. Yeah, I get about anywhere from, well, the first book in the day is still starting up, so I'm only hitting about 30 minutes, 45 minutes of that one right now. Eventually, it'll be up to an hour, and it's only like 100,000 words, so it'll be over in a few days, as opposed to the other book, which I'm cranking out 2 hours plus per day,
Mm.
and that's still, like I gotta keep
That's
that pace up, basically.
about to say that 2 hours plus is your normal recording day, so
Mhm.
you're basically
The other one's
adding
in
on.
addition.
Okay.
Yep.
How's your voice gonna hold up for that?
Yeah, it's doing okay so far. I just
Okay.
gotta try to baby it the best I can. I'm drinking a lot of throat coat at night and being real quiet at night and stuff, just trying to give it as much like oomph as I can. Unfortunately, as nature is wont to do, I had the worst possible timing for communists to invade right at the beginning of this. So I'm
Yeah.
dealing with like the vocal dryness that comes from that, like that I get hoarse. So dealing with that on top of trying to produce about 2.5, 3 hours of audio today a day is like just someone fucking kill me.
Well,
And
that
just
for those who aren't there for when you're live recording, and that's something they probably never think about, is
Mhm.
the fact that for people who have hormonal changes every month in their life cycle,
Mhm.
it can cause more than just what you think of in that regard. The communists don't just bar the gates in some way, shape, or form. The hormones
Nope.
will wreck everything. And
Yeah.
for narrators, and like I said, you've talked to other female narrators, this is the same
Mhm.
thing. It breaks their voice for a day or two as the hormones run rampant.
Yeah. It just makes it more fragile, it dries out really badly, it's a whole thing.
It
I ended up having to look it up because it seemed to be suspiciously timed out, like, month after month, and I was like, "What's going on with this?" So I looked it up and asked my doctor about it. Yeah, it's hormonal laryngitis, that's all it is, just fuck you from nature, basically. That's all it is, it's a middle finger, and not every female narrator deals with it, but it's just a thing that can happen, so
Well, I mean,
it's
I wouldn't have
enjoyable.
thought I never would have even considered it as a problem or an issue or a potential problem or issue until, listening to you record
Yeah.
things and it's
Neither
like,
did
"Oh,
I.
wow. I guess yeah, I mean it makes sense in a way because your
Mhm,
body is literally going through a change at that point." So,
mhm.
as with all things with hormones and body changes, your voice can do crazy things.
Yeah, super enjoyable. It's very, very enjoyable and fun to deal with, especially for somebody who, like, the idea of having this conversation on a live stream would have made me
Mhm.
vomit 5 years ago. Like, the idea of talking about anything related to that 5 years ago, 6
Oh,
years ago, 7 years ago.
it's nice to know we're breaking barriers for you.
Oh my gosh. I had to. That's the problem. Like, once the stream came around, you don't wanna keep telling people I just don't feel well. I just don't feel well. I'm just not doing well. Like, it's finally you just get to the point where you're like, "I'm on my period and my voice is fucking with me. That's it, okay? I'm done." You get tired of dealing with trying to be, like, euphemistic about it. Like, "Oh, I'm just alluding to it." I still say the communists, though, because that helps me. I like that word better.
I find it funny that the communists invade.
Yep.
That you have the siege at the gates every month.
Mhm.
I think that's a funnier way of trying to get the point across without just being, and so I'm bleeding again, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Okay,
God.
and it might not even be full bleed. It could just be the cramps and the bloating and the hormones.
Mhm.
Without, I mean, because the human body is a crazy thing. So Andy,
Mhm.
Lost Phoenix said, I was listening to the AL bloopers, and my mother walked in during the semen one. I then had to explain that to her.
I'm not sorry, but I'm also sorry, but I'm not sorry.
Totally not sorry.
Oh, okay. I feel
Gotta
bad.
catch jizz
This one
spots.
this antecedents didn't have the same, like, quantity of bloopers. I gave them to Daniel. I think we only had 1 or 2, something like that. It
Mhm.
was very short. So I just gave them to Daniel. I think he's gonna throw them up somewhere, but
I put them on
it's
Patreon. They're on Patreon.
yeah, there you go. So, there was not that many, so they will not be at the end. I did not think that giving Podium, like, 40 seconds worth of bloopers was, gonna end up making it into the book. They probably wouldn't have made it. They would have been like,
Fair
we're
enough.
not doing this."
We're not
So,
doing it for this one skit where she laughed for about 15 seconds of the 40. So
yep, yep, just me laughing hysterically because I thought it was
the
funny.
archivist made it.
Now, that said, Aethers has bloopers, so
Yes. Um, I had a question for me was, have you ever tried it's the month of writing thing? Nah, no.
NaNoWriMo.
Yeah, that thing.
Mm.
Uh, it's apparently a 50,000 word challenge in November for a manuscript. I imagine you write like that quite often based on book releases. I mean, could I? Yeah, but I don't like doing what other people want me to do, so no. I mean, my minimum goal every month minimum is 60,000 words. So could I do that without a problem? But no, I'm not marching to somebody else's drum. It's hard enough marching to my own. I mean,
Going with the
I have
going with
enough
the
things out there that I could just lie to them. I have, things that I've written that I haven't shown people. I could be like, yeah, I'll totally do this. And then just copy paste. Hey, look, I made a chapter again today. But
different.
where's the point? It's not for me. For people who that kind of thing helps, that okay, I have this long to get something done. Great. I'm glad there's something out there to help motivate people, but I don't need it.
Yep.
Andy, what was your biggest or loudest
Easy for you to
damn
say.
it Daniel moments?
That. Man, whenever somebody asks me something like this, like, "What was the?" I'm always like, "I don't know, there were so many of them."
I'll pick one at
Um,
random. It's fine.
the one with trying to say Krish's name, not Krish, KO's
Chaos.
name out loud, that one was a good one, just because there was no English way to say that word, so there were no vowels, so that was nonsense, so that was a pretty big "Damn it, Daniel." Um There was another one just recently that I'll think of. If I remember it, then I'll say it. Because there was another one though that I can't I'm trying to remember out of the top of my head right now. It was during Aethers. And I don't freaking remember what it was. It was something. It made me shriek, "Damn it, Daniel," because I got so confused about something. It was some silly thing that we had to go round and round on. You were there in the chat, but I can't remember what it was. It was just back and forth and back and forth, and we finally figured out what it was, and it was stupid.
There was a moment where you guys had gone round and round, and then I jumped in because I realized I had been pinged by one of the fans on
Yeah.
your, and I jumped into chat, and you're like, and we just finished this. Fine, Daniel, let's go talk. And it was like I was called into the principal's office for just
Yeah.
showing up.
Yeah, exactly. Because it was trying to figure out a word or something like that, and I said it was one thing. Oh, that was what it was. It was somebody talking. That was what it was. It was Gregory talking, and the way that it was tagged, it looked like it was Davis talking, but the content was Gregory talking. And
It
so I
was
read it as Gregory, then read the tag and was like, "Oh no, that's Davis."
it
So I
was
went back and recorded it.
it was the scene when they were gambling with the
Yep.
Captain Trita,
Yep.
and it was Trita telling Davis, hey, it's not a good idea to make your commander a debtor. And then the line after that is Davis, but it's not, I didn't have an attribute on it. And the person who had talked before that had been Gregory. So Andy, following proper rules of grammar, went, that's obviously Gregory, even though it's like kind of addressed to Davis. And we figured it out in the end. But it just proves that apparently I need to attribute every single line ever
Please
forever,
don't.
and then Andy can just axe all of the ones she doesn't care about, right? That's how
No.
this works.
No. No, just when there's any ambivalence in the scene about who might have said it. It was what had happened was there was a visual component to the scene. So there was
Yes, it
basically
was.
one person had said something and then someone said something to someone else. There was no
Mhm.
like interchange of that happening. There was no turn of the head or anything. So it sounded
If
like it was still going to this person because it was supposed to be over here. So
if it had
that
been
was
on
what had occurred
screen, it would have been much easier to understand since there is
in a
no
second.
visual aid.
Yeah.
The narrator did the best she could while having thoughts provided to her, and
Yes.
yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing.
Chapstick.
Did I hear that you were going to end? You're going to be ending LV. If so, what was the other series besides Heavenly Chaos, which I'm assuming will replace LV? I don't know yet, honestly. I still need to write book 8, and I'm still waiting for the 30 day period of Lux Voice 7 to finish. because I wait until I have that quote unquote first month. It's 30 days of publishing to see what the numbers are, but the numbers at the moment for 7 are not looking good. Which means that more than likely 8 will end the series, but I cannot say until I see the final numbers. If 8 isn't, then 9 definitely will be, just because where I was taking the series anyway. So it'd just be a matter of escalating the timeline a little bit for one less book. What takes the place of that? I don't know. I still have Grafting Demons, which has got put on the back burner for Heavenly Chaos. My alpha readers, having read both of them, suggested to me that it would not be a good idea to be running both series at the same time because they both feature rifts and or dungeons of some kind, and didn't think that 2 series that both heavily featured that kind of content it would be for the best. And I'm not going to disagree with them. This is why I trust these few alpha readers of mine to give me these opinions. It's also why Krish is a doll and not a hermaphrodite, because they warned me ahead of time that it might have negative consequences. So trust the people you trust is basically what it comes down to. Though Andy, I will say that Blurb's voice is still one of my favorites. Blurb's
Blurb's voice is one of my favorites. I like Blurb's. I waited for so long to use that voice. I was so happy with it.
I'm so glad I gave you a slime to be able to break that out on.
That's one of those stupid ones that I'll do every once in a while, like while I'm just messing around in Fortnite with Nikki or something. Nikki's my sister. Like messing around in Fortnite or something. I'll just be like, "No, get in the bush," when we're like fighting things. So that was one of the mess around voices that I was like, "Yes, I finally have a slime to do this with." Yes. So I was very happy about that.
He's such a thirsty slime, apparently.
He really is.
Concerned with science. Just wants to be able to keep his crew healthy, but everyone takes it to mean that he just really wants Xander.
Yeah.
I still find that vastly amusing.
Ooh, data?
No, he's from a different sci-fi series. We can't go there without being sued.
Oh, but it would be delicious.
No, you're thinking of Riker. Trust me, he was the man.
Oh.
The second man whore. The first man whore was, of course, Kirk.
Yeah. Riker was the new man whore.
Yes, he was. Well,
really was.
We're not having the 60-plus-year-old captain this time be the man whore. It's okay. We'll have like the 30-year-old like second in command, and he will just want everything. Like Kirk was like, "Ooh, kind of interesting." Riker's like, "I'm taking it."
Yeah, not gonna lie. I was into Riker when I was younger. Like that was the one like redeeming thing. Riker and Picard were the redeeming factor for Star Trek when my dad watched it. I'm not a Trekkie, so
okay,
I wasn't a big fan of Trek.
The first time I listened to an Andy audiobook, it was a non-fade to black, and it was on a loud Bluetooth speaker. Well, Shank, mistakes were made. Well done.
I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
I'm not sorry.
That's Shank. I'm not sorry. No, Shank didn't know then, but Shank knows now.
Frank, you asked the planning on Heavenly Chaos. It's right down there in that scroll bar. HC1 is Heavenly Chaos. See that right there, March 1st? That little thing scrolling by? Okay. Just, point that out for people. There is my moderator did put a nice scroll bar to keep all the release things going. So just, for those people who are interested in those kinds of things. I'm looking forward to Andy getting to Binding Words 11 though.
I am too.
I'm
actually a really big fan of the Binding Word series, so I really like that one a lot. So I'm like, oh, I want to know what happens. It's so long into it. Like we're so far into it that I'm like, oh man.
5 years, 11 books.
It'll be our first completed series together.
Yeah, will we? I have completed other series, but none with Andy. It's nice. It's nice coming to completion with you, Andy. I'm just gonna say that. I'm just glad we can get away with that and not get in trouble,
It's all literary.
Oh, my mom made it here too. Hi, Mom. Oh, and Dad. Mom and Dad are both here. It caught the attention of the entire warehouse. I'm sure it did, Shank. Especially if it was ant sex.
Even if it wasn't, I'm pretty I try to depict those scenes relatively
Accurately, truthfully.
theatrically. So it's pretty clear what's going on.
What was Thea's full name? If you mean Thera, it was Theramona was her full name. Her family name was mentioned. It was Stalking Claw. It was Theramona Stalking Claw was her full name. So that might or might not play a role later in the series. I'm not gonna say because I don't fucking know till I write it. People always ask me these questions. Don't know. My characters will tell me when they tell me. That's why they do stupid things like life bond the entire staff. Don't ask me. Fucking Sean.
It's Sean's fault. It's always Sean's fault.
Secret horn dog. Just didn't want anyone to know about it. Oh, it's totally an accident. 11 more women for me. Dick.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even think about what kind of trouble that was going to cause me telling the story.
I like picturing the real Sean when I picture the thought process behind that, because it's perfect. Because there really is that genuine, huh? But no.
Wait, I did. Fuck. That's
so good.
That really is
So
Sean.
good. It really is.
That later when he gets mentioned and he just goes, hang on. 1 + 1 is 2.
Yeah.
2 + 2 is 4, which means fuck.
Oh, fuck.
You didn't consider that, Sean? No.
No, but I was helping people.
Well, they asked and they look so sweet. And then I forgot my life bonds basically act like super Viagra for emotions.
You can't take every puppy home, Sean.
But this one has spots. The other ones don't have spots. Sean, I am not a smart man. That actually could be a quote from Sean. He is smart in some ways. He does not always think things through.
Yeah, he's brilliant in a lot of ways, but
and
forethought,
in other
not
ways, not the sharpest knife in the drawer. Love him to death, but not the sharpest knife in the drawer.
Well, I won't comment on real life, Sean, because I genuinely don't know. I was telling, I told Daniel the other day, I said, whenever Daniel mentions that he's talking to a friend or a friend has to go do something or anything, in my head, it's always Sean. Every time, it's Sean. It doesn't matter what it is. Daniel could be like, my friend had to get a mammogram the other day, and I'm 100% picturing Sean with his little man boobie pressed into a mammogram machine. Just angrily staring into the distance.
You tried to describe that to Hayes, and then asked me for a picture of Sean.
Yep.
So he could get the right mental image.
Yep.
Which I sent you.
Perfect.
I sent you Sammy's favorite picture that she has taken of me and Sean together. Which will not be shown to anyone else. The rest of you can just
that'll live on the internet forever. Yeah, no.
The rest of you could just wonder about what that picture might entail. But it was possibly graphic. It could be seen as graphic depending on how you looked at it. If you squinted and turned it sideways.
Yeah, because I was trying. Part of the reason I asked Daniel for a picture was because I was trying to describe it to Hayes. But I was like, the funny thing is, like, Sean's a good-looking guy. Like, he's a good-looking guy. He has this like innocent. Oh man, how do I? He's like and I'm trying to describe Sean because he is a good-looking guy, but he has this like innocence about him. There just is for whatever reason. That's just what he looks like. And I'm like, but he has this thing. Hold on. And so I went and asked Daniel for a picture just so I could show him so that he could understand. And the joke landed with Hayes. He appreciated it. So
good.
It worked out.
I'm glad at least my friends can bring Hayes laughter.
Yes.
Wait.
Or at least the stories associated with your friend.
And
like,
that's right.
More than that guy. It's just Sean. We all know. It's just Sean.
Just Sean.
It's just Sean.
What happened? Sean was involved. Oh. so much shade, and he's never going to be here to defend himself because he doesn't do social media.
Nope.
Does not.
We can shit talk all day long. Except we're not. It's like positive, sweet, like affirmative shit talking.
Affirmations. Positive affirmations of shit.
Yeah. We're saying what a good guy he is, and he's so sweet, so it counts.
It's just, he does stupid shit sometimes. I mean, everyone does. It's just sometimes Sean's reaches a different level. I predicted him. I gave people a perfect idea. If you wonder why the man is so oblivious in the books, it is true to life. Sean, I gave you a perfect example of what an oblivious MC would actually be like, because he is. Speaking of antecedents, Audible has the first audiobook up for $6. Yeah, there's a sale going on for it. I mean, that was bound to happen with book 2 coming out up on pre-order, and it drops on the 5th of December. So, I mean, if you haven't pre-ordered it, you should do so, because it's there. It's just waiting. As soon as they get it out, the only downside of working with a publisher is the book comes out when they say. So that is I find the biggest downside to working with a publisher. The nice side of it is it, once it's handed off, I don't think about it anymore. You guys go, it's with Podium. I can't do anything. I'm sorry. I have nothing. I don't have audio codes. I can't push it out any earlier. I can't do a damned thing. It's worth dropping in just to hear her giggle. I agree. It totally is dropping in just to hear her giggle.
Thank you.
Does it hurt you to do Blurb's voice too long?
No, not really. Blurb isn't the most verbose of individuals, so maybe after time, but it hasn't happened yet.
Time to give him a soliloquy. Got it.
Yeah, there you go. That's what
three-page explanation of Blurb.
Yeah, Blurb is now the source of all exposition in the story. Any world building will be done through Blurb.
Book 3, the Blurbening.
The Blurbening. Yes, exactly that.
I mean, if I put it that way, people will think it's something completely different. So I think it's a win-win.
I just picture Blurb just rocketing Blurb everywhere. The Blurbening.
He's eating everything.
That was his plan all along. That was why he's been collecting DNA samples. He really wanted to know how best to kill us all.
Making sure that everyone was going to digest just right.
Yep.
Just read the ticker, Heavenly Chaos 1. Did you talk about that? What is dropping? It is taking the place of Binding Words in the 4-book rotation. It is coming before the next Binding Words would come around on rotation, just because when I drop a new series, I like to get feedback on it as soon as possible. And honestly, I could have slid it in before Aether's Revival 8, but I'm pretty sure I would have had a riot on my hands from my fans waiting for Aethers. Considering Aethers is my best-selling series, it is the most beloved series I've ever published. So instead of getting lynched for dropping another book, I made sure to keep Aethers right after Binding Words. And then I'll push Heavenly Chaos in after it. Heavenly Chaos is my Lit RPG cultivation series. So there will be hard numbers. There will be growth in skills and stuff. However, I am capping the numbers so you don't have 5,263 strength, because at what point does that become irrelevant as a number?
Yeah, it's true.
So the numbers will be a lot smaller, and they will matter a lot more for that, in my opinion. But just the numbers will be hard, nothing else. I mean, no, there's little blue pills that make sure that that's not a problem. I've heard. I've heard. So that is where Heavenly Chaos is going to fit in. It is not as loose as Aethers was, because Aethers was my Magic Academy / cultivation thing. I wanted to kind of blend those two together. Heavenly Chaos, when it was conceived, I had just gotten off a binge of like 4 different types of cultivation books, which were more in the Lit RPG style. And all the numbers were just stupid. I mean, when you have 12 million strength, what does that mean? If that character started out with 10 strength and now they have 12 million, what does that mean anymore?
Yeah, I
So
feel that way
I
about experience numbers too. When people
mhm.
need like 5 billion experience to progress, I'm like,
It's I set out the system and then said, okay, this is the system characters. What do you got for me? And the first book is done. It's waiting for its editing. It's been done for at least half a year now. I was just, like I said, waiting for a spot to throw it into rotation. Um, and the system works. The characters dove right into it. They had no problems telling me their story in that framework. So I'm really glad for it. I'm really looking forward to it. And making Andy do another, like deep bass main character while she still has Xander is just my gift to her.
thank you. Thank you.
She told
You
me
want
I
me to
can't do
continue doing my job, so I appreciate it.
this. She's like, I can't do this, and I'm like, it's totally fine. It's just one other series, Andy. It's not like it's gonna break you.
Mhm. 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 Mhm.
No,
Mhm.
it won't be that bad for reasons I've discussed with her. She did threaten to break arms and legs if I did things like give her a fire giant main character. So
No,
no fire
just
giant
from
main
a
character.
very legitimate level. If you are going to have like an 11-foot tall male fire giant main character, at that point, you really may want to consider a different narrator. Just because I am not physically capable of doing that convincingly. Not for an extended period of time.
But I can't use another narrator. It has to be Andy.
Uh-huh. Yeah, now people are yeah, Frank's like dual narration. No, you guys don't understand the mechanics involved in that. It's extremely difficult and time consuming. It's a lot
Honestly, if
to like
if if
coordinate
it
it.
if it came to that, I would probably just go to sound booth and be like, okay, guys, I'm fairly certain Jeff would work with me.
Yeah,
So and then
100%.
I could just be like, and Andy needs to do every female part.
Yeah.
So
I'd actually be weirdly fine with that. Yeah, I'd be perfectly fine. That actually is a good contingency plan in the event for like big dude male characters again
so
while we're
so
still
so
doing
if
Xander.
I do a fire giant main character, I got it. Don't worry,
Yeah.
we got it. Fire giant main character. Go to sound booth.
For anybody who
Outside of
doesn't know,
that,
this is
though,
based off the fire giant in Antecedents because I had a whole like mental crisis trying to get that voice to sound
Vorsa,
right. Vorsa. Just
Vorsa.
I am Vorsa. I am Vorsa. Like I said that 5
The
billion times trying to get it right.
the process you go through of getting voices down, I still find fascinating because you are not, if not a perfectionist, you're as close to it as I've seen. For okay, nope, voice doesn't work. Gonna keep going. Gonna keep trying. And
Mhm.
even if that means she takes an hour off stream because she's just doesn't want to keep letting people hear her say the line another 50,000 times.
Yeah, because then it gets annoying.
So, but I will make sure that if Vorsa ever gets his own spin-off series, that I go to Sound Booth Theater. But you've already voiced them, so you're still gonna have to do them.
Yes, this is true.
That night don't do spin-off series. I've had people ask me, oh, what about the short stories of, just following like the young trio from Aethers, and I'm like, that's not the story I set out to tell. I can't do that. The stories are the
Yeah.
stories that the characters tell me. If they don't tell me what happened to them while they were in Water Rock for the 3 months they were there, I can't tell you guys because they didn't tell
Yep.
me.
Yep.
It's one of the few times where I'm like, I almost kind of wish I was like some of the other authors who could just be like, oh, this series is really popular. Let me spin off another 3 different series off of this setting, that because it's going to make me a lot of money. I wish I could do that, but I can't, and sometimes that hurts. So Binding Words brought me to Shinhofen's writings. Is it going to be hard to see it end with DJ ending this past month? It feels like the end of an era. I mean, like I said, 5 years, 11 books, and Andy was there with me the entire way. Andy, how badly do you cringe when you go back and think about book one and the voices
So
you
bad.
gave in book
So
one?
so bad. So bad. I actually don't think I tried not to visit or think about the book like earlier books because it just it is physically and time-wise impossible to go back and re-record everything. Like, I just can't. I've had to re-record 2 different books this year that were first books, and they were both from very early in my career. And while that is in some ways like really cool because I get another chance at it, there's also this element of like, it's a lot, and there's very little redeeming. There's really very little redeeming factor of that for like the author and anybody who's having to pay for it and everything else. Like it just isn't going to pay off. It's just not. So it's not worth re-recording them, but that doesn't stop me from just agony trying to listen to it because I'm going, oh, it's so bad. That is so bad. We've had so many accent lessons since then, but that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. We've come far. We've come far. Someone said a minute ago, like, that I could pull a character that has a big, strong character that has a high pitched voice and makes people laugh. That's not actually that far out of the realm. Like Popper was a badass who was a tiny 6-year-old girl, like trapped in a 6-year-old girl's body who was a 48-year-old man. Like it was, it's not that weird, but that was a book that was really, really early on. And now I can't listen to that book without just, okay. It's hard. It's hard, especially for stuff from the very beginning.
My favorite part of that series is still the troll nipples.
Okay, the troll nipples are so funny though.
Because you had Hayes come in and do the voice for the Queen Troll, and that was hilarious.
Yeah, Hayes did such a good job on that.
I have a friend who hates harem but loves binding words. Well, that's fine. It just means that I did my job right. It means that they were willing to read something that they normally wouldn't, which to me is flattering.
Yep.
So, let's see. Sean not being able to walk past a pet store without buying it out. Sorry guys, I bought every animal again. Yeah, that. I mean, that's not wrong. That's basically what he did to the staff, though.
Yep.
I mean, so animal people instead of animal pets. But look at her; she's had a hard life. I promised to take her out for walks.
I'll take care of her. I really will. You already have 8 at home. But this one's different.
This one's different. I didn't have one with a tail like this. I was reading through Alpha World, and not to go into spoilers, the ending in regards to the identity of the gods, was that always the thought going forward from the beginning, or did it morph over time? No, that was set out. There's a reason why you never see any there's no iconography? Statues? Iconograph? Whatever. That word. The narrator said, because she's a narrator and she says words. I just put them down. She says them. I smash my face into a keyboard. She says that. There's no images of peace, the goddess, for a reason. There's no pictures of justice without his helmet off for a reason. And people didn't see those. Just like, the fact that people might have gotten mentioned in the beginning of Binding Words and might, show up later in the same. Yeah, that thing. My girlfriend told me too, and I still can't say it right. For whatever reason, that is a word I cannot say correctly.
If you remember that there's nog in the middle of it, it makes it easier. Iconography.
Iconography.
Yeah.
No. That's no. I do not accept this. That feels wrong in my mouth, and I'd never.
Sometimes the best things do.
I walked into that one. I walked into. Really? I said it. And I was like,
I don't even get them on other people very often. Thank you. That was a good win for me. Thank you.
Andy, it's okay when it's you doing it to me, okay? It doesn't feel wrong when you're putting words in my mouth. I put words in your mouth all the damn time, so I think it's a little bit of tit for tat is fine.
Also, someone's killing me with their comment, and I have to say, somebody said, y'all said Sean so many times, I accidentally named my cow that in Harvest Moon, and I just cackled at that internally. The cow is now named Sean because of us, and I fully approve of this.
Well, when you go out to milk Sean later, just beware.
Also, Harvest Moon for the win. That's a great game. I'm playing Fae Farm right now.
just out of curiosity, are there bulls in Harvest Moon, or is it just cows?
I don't believe so. No, you just have cows.
Okay,
just cows.
Otherwise, it could get very wrong if you decided to go milk to Sean.
I mean, wrong, depending on your kink. We don't know. You don't know. Maybe they're into it. Actually, I
I'm
don't
not.
think that's a kink. I think that's assault to the animal.
The animal is not giving you
They're
consent
not
if it says
consenting.
moo. Okay, that is no. That's no.
Nope.
Just
Nope.
no.
Animals can't consent. No matter how much they
Oh,
think they can, they can't.
they can, guys. Just if you cannot get clear verbal where you can both understand each other consent, it doesn't count.
Phoenix says it's a milk cow. So yeah, that's the thing in those resource like harvesty type cozy games. They only give you the version of the animal that will produce the thing you need. So it's always female animals. Like it's hen so you get eggs. It's cow so you get milk. There's no men. There's no male animals in that world. They only live in the breeding huts. That's the only time they exist.
In the what?
There's usually like a breeding hut thing, like a person you go talk to about breeding your animals to make more of them. So you don't see anything, but I guarantee you there's a nasty hut somewhere on somebody's property. There's some
Breeding hut.
freaky shit going on down there.
Breeding hut.
Admittedly, that is my term for that, not the game's term for that.
Wow. I thought it was a wholesome farming sim, but then there were breeding huts involved.
It is and isn't at the same time because everything's dirty if you look hard enough.
You don't even have to look hard enough in most cases. DJ, have you ever thought about doing a gnome as a main character? I mean, I'm not opposed to it, but I don't go out of my way to be like, oh, this character's going to be a gnome or this character's going to be a dwarf. Normally, it's what they tell me. So, I can say with Heavenly Chaos, the main character's bloodline was something that was known right from the very start. When I first put the first chapter down on paper for that, I was like, "Yep, this is totally what this is going to be." And he said, "Yes, yes, I am." And I went, "Okay, I'm fine with this.
Are there
Tell
any
me more."
other questions you want me to answer? Because I got to take off at 7, so I want to make sure I'm not going to miss anything.
Let me check my starred real quick. Blurb reads War and Peace. Not really a question, but I'll throw that up there for you.
Never admit weakness in front of other people.
Do
Never.
you give Andy notes on voices beyond what the reader gets in the text? No.
That was one that I saw roll by. Yeah, that was.
I have given Andy full 100% control over things. In fact, I've removed some notations in my books before, which might or might not have had unintended consequences. So yeah. So no,
Hey.
I haven't given her notes. I've given her less direction than she probably wants. In fact, and she's told me, that would have been helpful, Daniel. And I went, I was trying to be helpful.
He pulled out all the accent references in Antecedent's Legacy. And then for me, I'm like, well, it's a computer that's translating everything into his head. So there's no real viable reason anyone would have accents. So I just started making everybody general American. And Daniel's like, yeah, I actually wrote those characters with accents in mind. And I just removed it. I'm like, that's one of them. God damn it, Daniel. That was a good one.
There was even the fragment of the line left in the book when you read it about it, and yeah, it was the funny thing is just like a few months before that, you had been recording somebody else's book, and you had mentioned that sometimes voice direction isn't helpful. In fact, it can be unhelpful. So I was like, oh, well, then I'll be very helpful to Andy. I'll give her a broader palette and not, be like, this one totally has like an Irish accent. And doing that had unintended consequences. So, which is why you will now get some accents slowly moving forward through the Antecedents series, because Zelda is being Zelda. And it is actually touched upon. We added like 3-4 lines in the book 2, which is now in the updated Kindle version, and will be in the audio version of her having done that, where Zelda was like, and I gave her an accent. Why, Zelda? Because I can.
Because vampires are sexy.
So you will slowly get some accents here or there, and I will actively put notations into the book to give Andy a little more leeway when she is doing things. They could not have been introduced beforehand, because that would be really weird. So
Yeah.
I would feel odd going back and giving KO an accent now, because that would just be like, you've had 2 books with this accent. Now let's flip it on its head. I can't do that to her. Andy
Yeah.
would lose her mind, and I wouldn't blame her in the least.
Because I'd have to find some smooth way to like integrate it so it didn't sound just absolutely nuts. So that would be extremely difficult. That was what happened in chat. Was basically we went back and forth because I was like, I don't know what to make her sound like, because I already had the captain who had the voice that I would have used
For the sexy
for
character.
for Lavella. Like I had the captain already, and I'm like, oh god damn it, because the captain's basically a succubus, and then there's like this sexy vampy vampire, and I'm like, oh no, this is like the same voice basically. Shit. And so I had to come up with something different. And then the suggestion was given to give her an accent, and I said she can't be the only goddamn one who has an accent in the entire series with no explanation.
So I
So
gave
we
her an
took it out of the way.
explanation.
Yeah.
I think currently she's still the only character with an accent, though.
No, I think there's somebody else. If I
Did you
remember
tag
correctly,
one other
yeah.
person? Okay.
I think somebody else
Um,
has one. Yeah.
but I will make sure that other characters going forward actually get a nod towards that. It'll also open up your toolbox more again than just general American.
Yes, the gnome. The gnome.
Which
Uh, crime boss.
Oh, the crime boss,
Mhm.
Mimi.
Yep,
Yes, yeah.
she's
Yeah.
the one. She has an accent.
So I will note those for what I consider important characters. It won't just be Town Guard 8 who gets an accent,
Yeah.
but that opens up the toolbox more for Andy, so
Yeah.
she can run through with it and not feel like everybody all has the same voice, because honestly she's one person, and she's general. If she general American everybody, it would limit things, I would think.
I can get about probably 40 comfortably,
Uh-huh.
30 comfortably,
So
but
book 2.
yeah, it's like all it takes is it's one book, one character heavy book, and I'm like, oh, guy, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel for general American. Like, there are ways to do it. I'm just not
Mhm.
that skilled in those methods. Like, you can change your cadence and stuff like that, but that's very hard to do. So I just haven't done it yet.
Which is why I will be making sure that what I consider important characters get a nod in that regard, to make it a lot easier for her, because keeping Andy happy means that I can continue to bribe her into doing my books, which is important to me. So
Yep.
Andy, is there anything you would like to tell people before you take off? Any other notes or comments for stream?
Uh, no, just so everybody knows, so I can stop getting messages about it. Aethers is done. So that's I know it took longer than it normally does, and I promise they're not all going to be that long of a delay. That was just I got sick and there was a big catastrophe and other stuff that had to be worked on. Other than that, next one, Aethers is coming out, Antecedents is coming out, and then we're
Mhm.
doing Binding Words. We kind of covered the stuff that I would cover on here. We're
Okay.
good.
What are you currently recording? In case
I'm
people want
currently
to stop
recording
by.
Azarinth Healer is in the afternoons, and we're doing Dress to Kill in the mornings by Crownfall, which is a really cool like crafting RPG. Uh, like it's a dungeon diver kind of thing. So it's really fun though. It's a craft. She's a seamstress, but she figures out how to use it to fight, and it's a lot of fun. So
I
that's in the
just I just
mornings.
want to I just want to make a note here just before you leave. There are currently 48 people here watching us, and you're
Yay!
about to leave, so I'm going to watch that number drop to like 12. So
You guys better stay around. You need to prove him wrong now. I would really appreciate it if you could stay just to prove him
uh-huh.
wrong.
They're going to go over and listen to you record. You can't do that. That's
No,
cheating. Don't cheat.
we are gonna go. I am gonna go record more Azarinth Healer now because my night is far from over. So,
Have a good night, hon. Thanks for coming in.
bye, everybody. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
And then there was one. It was a lonely number, as it's talked about. Go away, Java. I don't want to update you. You're terrible, and I need to remove you still. Well, so the upbeat, giggly portion of tonight's show is over. I'm now going to slowly do what I do and troll through the rest of the comments. Troll through the rest of the comments until I catch up to you guys again, or until it's time for dinner, because that'll be in about an hour from now. So an hour at the most is what I will be going for at this point, because the girlfriends are making tasty. I think they called it hunter chicken and mashed potatoes, as far as I'm aware. But baked potatoes, so even better. I love baked potato. I still have that bit of Irish in me. I love my meat and potatoes. So thank you all for coming. It seems so much quieter. Me and Andy just feed off each other. Well, mostly I just feed off of Andy because she's a great person and it means I don't have to talk then. And yeah, sounds better than my dinner of Hot Pockets and chips. I mean, it happens, Lost. We all have those days. I went through those days quite often, but it was just ramen because Hot Pockets were too expensive. Andy always makes the nice characters out to be the evil overlords. I mean, true, Jurgis. We have the evil overlord in Posey, and Elsa has her shit eggs, and we're apparently getting a meth field now with a butterfly. I think it's a blue butterfly attached to the meth field. Apparently, he is tripping on something that he is hallucinating butterflies now, and we all get to go along with him. So that's a thing. Ah, so very medically accurate. If you doubled the size of Aether's book, we'd forgive you. That's funny you say that, Shota, because I was talking to my alpha readers today because I sent them off today's chapter of what I've gotten to so far, and I'm like, you know what? There's a point coming up here real soon. It'll probably be around the 86 to 90,000 mark. That would make a really good stop for book 8. But that's like 10 to 40,000 words shorter than the average Aether book. Actually, it's more like 25 to 40,000 words short for a normal Aether book. But it would be such a good stop. But it would be such a small book in comparison to the rest. And I'm like, I kind of want to because the stopping point it's just so to me it's just so good. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm not sure it would work out. So I will probably go past that point when I get to it. But I was thinking about it today, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think the fan base would be like, oh, it's a 90,000 word book instead of a 120,000 word book. That's okay, Shinhofen, go ahead. Like you said, you'd be okay with a double sized Aether's book, and I'm like, okay, it kind of tells me that I should just push forward to the next stopping point that I find. So I probably will. Uh, where was I? We won't lynch you. We'll just show you appreciation with pitchforks and torches. That's that's called a riot or a lynch, Widowmaker. I'm just yeah, no, you can't. That's not appreciation. I am not into being jabbed with metal objects. That is not shit. I have tattoos. I am normally not into being stabbed with metal objects. Ah, fuck. God damn it. Some days. AR has slowly become my favorite ongoing. Really excited about Kroga. Really like it and push it back. And that's kind of why I didn't. Like I said, best-selling series, most beloved series out of everything I've written. If I broke down the numbers and went back and compared from the start against like all of Alpha World and all of Binding Words and went book for book, I'm through 7 books of Aethers right now. If I went book for book, I'm fairly certain that Aethers has won out in in money and popularity. Um, Alpha World at the time was the gold banner, and Binding Words, while it probably never quite reached Alpha level world, it has been above average consistently, enough for me to basically put it in like that top 3 of series. If I went all the way through, because Alpha World ended on 8 and Binding Words is going to end on 11, if I took the entire series, the first month of books being sold, back to back to back, and added them all together, I think Binding Words would then match Alpha World. That would be incorrect though, because there's, like I said, 3 more books in that series. So, but Aethers has I think at this point eclipsed all of them. Uh, Daniel said Alpha World. Hell, let me show you all how to do this. I mean, I love Alpha World because it touched on mental health, which hasn't really been a big focal point in the genre at all. Um, which one of the things I'm looking forward to getting back to in Heavenly Chaos is I still think it's underserved. It has been an hour though, so let's go ahead and recap for everyone. Lux Voice 7 Rail-Laid Plans came out October 25th. It has done okay. It has dropped off to a point where I am looking at book 8 or 9 ending out Lux Voice. And I will find out exactly where after my 30-day window runs for book 7. But sometime in the next book or two, Lux Voice will come to an end, which was what I was looking for anyway. With where book 7 ends. For those people who are going to be waiting for book 7 audio, that is not going to be recorded until February, because me and Andy are going to shove Binding Words audio being recorded into December instead, since that is going to complete a series. And for me, getting the audio for the completed series out is slightly higher up on the importance. This way, everyone can discuss the end of the series together, and you're not waiting another 5 months for the audio for the audio files to be able to experience the end as well. Binding Words will be published in late December 23rd, according to my scroll down there, which I had forgotten that I'd moved that up as the date. And then after that will be Aether Survival 8, Proven Strength, relatively March 1st, and then Heavenly Chaos 1, tentatively titled Heavenly Chaos, is the first book of May 1st. AL2 audio is out on December 5th. It is currently up on pre-order. You can go and find it. Apparently, the first book is still up on sale, so you can go get it cheaply on Audible if you'd like. And we have pushed Alpha World. We have pushed Aether's Revival 7 audio to ACX. We are now waiting on them to turn it around to the rest of you guys. Could be anywhere between tomorrow or the death of the sun, because that's just the way ACX works. ACX is how independents like me get their audio up onto Audible. So that is the interface company that does that. So you are aware. Let's see. I just started System Universe. They have crazy XP requirements based on class rarity. They cap stats also. See, I'm fine with that idea, Paul. Capping stats is what matters to me, honestly. There should be a hard cap somewhere. And I have no problem with the level 20 being so much better than the level 1. I don't even mind level 5 being hands down better than level 1. I just, at level 15, it shouldn't be I have 3 million strength, because if you started at 10 strength, what does that mean anymore? How do you quantify that and make it make sense? Where was I? Dual narration is like dual cultivation, right? No, Shank, that's not how that works. And you're probably off listening to Andy right now, so I'm not even sure if you're going to hear me answer that question. Let's see. Scroll. Well, if you thought the voices were good, Guard, that's 100% Andy. She gives them voice. I give them text. She breathes life into the voices. I give you the character. She breathes life into them. Is how I always look at it myself, and that might not be fair, but that's just how I look at it. What series was that with the Queen Troll? That was Dominion of Blades, Arctic. I am trying to get a buddy of mine into Aethers. If you could tell him one thing about the series, what would you say? Shit, I don't know. Probably a reborn god slowly making his way back to the peak of what it means to be a god again. I mean, that's the basis of the series. I'm really shit at self-marketing, so I can't help there, honestly. This is one of the things I am terrible at. The 40-year-old in the kid's body in Trolls Darth is Dominion of Blights. One at least told me the first book, your story, my laws. Okay. Name my cow. We got there. Okay. Eggnog. We got iconography. Iconography. That's still just no. Just that still bothers me. Okay. As much as I love catching you both live, it's almost midnight. No problem, Ghosted, and you're already gone because that was like 40 minutes ago or something. I hit enter without paying attention and then stared stupidly when it said, okay, take good care of Sean. Lost. I hope you and Sean are able to produce much delicious milk. Good luck with that. In one game, okay. Stardew Valley. It's actually some of the things I've never played. I like open world things, but I also I'm good at repetitive tasks, but like farming sims just doesn't grab me. I think it's the fact that it's like farming. My father was a landscaper for the early part of my life. If I wasn't in school or it was summer, I was out helping him do landscaping stuff. So we had a house and food and things. So things like farming don't sell me on a game anymore because I've been there, done that, pushed a lawnmower in 120-degree heat. Don't want to think about it. Okay. Scroll. DJ's beard is majestic. Well, thank you, Frank. I appreciate that. It's a little frizzy. I mean, it's late in the day and stuff, so it's gotten just a little wild, which happens. I mean, it's still trimmed. Hang on, there you go. It's still trimmed down the sides because I hate getting hair in my eyes. So, but it kind of fluffs out as the day goes on, as if it wasn't fluffy enough already. No problem, McKnight. Thanks for stopping in, man. Make sure to check back later, see if you're one of the winners. Where was I? Scrolling down. Not all general American accents. Okay. I think I'm only like 15 minutes behind in chat. That's actually really amazing for me. Yes, Advent Healer 3 is being recorded for the book is out. That's what happens when you work with giant publishers and they try to do things like simul releases. For me to do that kind of thing would mean I would literally be sitting on a finished product, like through editing finished product, not like Heavenly Chaos, which is still in raw text. It hasn't been edited yet. For a month or two, so Andy could record it, so we could try to simul drop. The problem being is I'm not a publisher, so I can't get Audible to be like, hey, I want to put up a pre-order on this date, and then go okay. Only like publishers get that nifty little feature, not independents like myself. So I mean, it would work out if I was working with Podium or if I was working with Mountaindale, but just me myself with Andy having recorded it, I don't get to do that nifty little, hey, I want to put out this pre-order because reasons. Yep, and that see, I got to the point where I'll leave you on muted, DJ. See, no problem, Shank. I'm used to that. It's okay. It's okay, guys. I don't need you to talk to me anyway. Meh. Uh, hey, Dimitri. I'm fine. Mostly, I've had a little bit of a headache all day. I have some real life stuff going on that I won't discuss. Um, Nothing terrible. My girlfriends are fine. The animals are fine. It's a business standpoint thing that is. It's dragging on. It's been dragging on since August, and it probably will for another month or two. And I am stressed because of it. And it'll eventually resolve itself in some way, shape, or form. And I'm kind of resigned, but I still have to wait for the process of what has to take place to take place. Um, long or short of it is, if you're a business, make sure all your I's and T's are taken care of. Do not trust unskilled people to take care of things for you. And if you did, be prepared to accept consequences. What it comes down to. So I am in the consequence stage. I'm just trying to find out how bad of a consequence it's going to be. Important news, we do have a date on Vixen Warbride 6, December 1st. That is true. Supposedly still the last of the Vixen Warbride series. I've mentioned it on various social platforms and on panels and stuff. Vixen Warbride is a series by Thomas Dozier, I think his name is. It is not harem, as much as the term Vixen Warbride makes me want to think harem, just because what I write. It is a futuristic military series where humans are on a planet where technology doesn't work, and they are the invading force, and we have settled we're keeping an eye on the native population that we were just at war with, and they have to try to figure out how to talk and get along with them when things like translators don't work. So you have to go old school and try to figure out how the language works, and then get communication, and it is a great character piece. Um, I have loved the first 5 books. Book 6 took a little longer because he is not a full-time writer, as far as I'm aware. He also has kids that he takes care of. Um, and book 6 should be the end of that series. As far as I know, that is what he has stated himself. I am totally looking forward to that. There are other books coming out that I'm looking forward to. Beware of Chicken has another book coming out, and He Who Fights with Monsters has another book coming out. And both of those I am also looking forward to. Like the end of this month, because it's like the 21st, the 28th, and then like the 1st. There are 3 books going into this end of the month that I am really looking forward to read, and it will probably take me 3 months to read them all because I don't get that much time to read normally. So yeah, but there are books that I am looking forward to. What did I just? I read Defiance of the Fall 11. That came out. Um, that is one of the books where like the stat numbers have kind of gone a little haywire. The rest of the framework of the series, though, I enjoy. Um, and the characters and storylines are good enough to keep me in it, even though I think the numbers are broken. What was the other one that just? I mean, Travis's book 2, Bookshops and Bone Dust, just came out. He was nice enough to let me read that after Guildify Con before it published. There was something else I can't remember right now. I am really shit for names and books. I get so little time to read nowadays, though, that it's a thing. So yeah. I mean, I would not be opposed to Andy putting things in my mouth, though, Paul. That's the thing. I'll be honest. I am not a proud man in some cases. I know you call yourself an after-action reporter for your characters, but do you have like bullet points and places to drive the story? Like I know the MC needs to get to that city. No, Angry. When I envision the series to begin with, it's normally okay. This is the main character. I know that. This is where I think the series is going to end, and I've hit every ending without fail so far, and I have not had anything deviate too far for the end of a series. And these are some things that should happen in the general series because I plot out the series, not a book, because I'm shit and I can't do things like a book, and I can't plot out a book. I would know then, oh, this series is going to be 6 books long and not the 11 it turns out to be. Um, the problem with that is the reason I make them these are things I'd like to get to is because sometimes my characters take a left-hand turn. I really thought Sean would end up in the wilds away from civilization at some point. Just, outdoor, him, Fiona, Mina, and I I think Ryan had entered the picture by then. I thought, okay, they'll get to Hearthglen, and then some shit will happen, and they'll be like, nope, this doesn't work. Let's get out of here, and they'll go into the wilds, and that'll be a fun thing until eventually, he grows in power and things happen. And then Hearthglen happened, and it was like, nope, he's settling down apparently. Okay, dude, you tell me what you're doing. I mean, the series still ended exactly how I thought it would. The series ended how I envisioned it with book one, so I'm not going to complain. Everything that happens in book 11 are things I planned for outside of the staff. Has reasons. I call myself an after action reporter because to me that is the pantser and discovery writer are other terms for it, but I listen to my characters so much more than some others that it just seems accurate to me. Making chicken and broccoli Alfredo. I mean, if you left the green stuff out of it, it would probably be fairly tasty. Broccoli is a vegetable I'll eat. My girlfriend got me to start eating more vegetables when she moved out here and started taking over most of the cooking, which is fine. She's a great cook, and it means I don't have to do it. If that means I have to eat vegetables, then so be it. These are prices that must be paid for things. Let's see. It is technically impossible to buy Hot Pockets. You buy frozen pockets labeled as Hot Pockets, but you have to supply the heat yourself. I mean, fair enough, Drath. My girlfriend has taken to using the air fryer to heat them. She says it drastically improves the overall experience because you get like a good shell. They don't just go completely soggy. So, uh, you went to Dragon Con, Frank. Wow. Yep, he did. Got to say hello. No problem, Shoto. Thanks for coming in. Good luck with things, sir. Are you are you ready for all the end of series questions you'll get about when Binding Words ends? I mean, Darius, I expect them. I will be very liberal with the banhammer if I need to be. Until audio comes out and people have a chance to read it and listen to it, because I have a lot of truckers and stuff or warehouse workers that are audiobooks. Um, so I will be fairly liberal if I have to be with coming down hard on people until everything is out and everyone's had a chance to experience it. But yes, I expect some people to be unhappy with certain aspects of the book. You can't please everyone all the time. But the story ended where I thought it was going to. So I am not going to I'm not gonna to fuss at it. Excuse me. That was quite rude of me. Do. Have you ever thought about a Frankenstein monster MC? I mean, that's just a flesh golem, Frank. That's what it comes down to. And like I said, if that's what one of my main characters tells me they are, then so be it. That's what they are. So, can you tell us if Greg will meet Krog's High Priest? I mean, maybe. I can't say. I haven't finished writing the book, so. But is it possible? Nothing's impossible. See, there's a question. Do you have a particular series that was the easiest to write? No, I can't say that. I have very rarely struggled writing any of my books. There might be a chapter or two, like a big key moment happens, and then I'll be like, okay, what? I really need you guys to speak up a little bit because what happens next isn't as clear to me. But there's never been one thing that's been like a series that's been easiest to write. A single book or two have flown off my fingers before. The first Apocalypse Gates, the first Antecedents, Heavenly Chaos, the Antecedents and Heavenly Chaos I wrote in my free time. Gave up my gaming time and stuff while I was writing other books for those. But they no, I have water. I had something cut my throat. But I wrote those in my quote unquote free time, and they were just very easy. The story told itself. Series though, no, I can't say that any one series has been far easier than any other series. Have any more for Lex Voice? I had covered that. It's gonna be uh one, maybe two more, depending. It's going to depend on where the end of where the money falls for Lux Voice 7. But even if that was like did double what any other book had done previously, book 9 was going to be the end. It just might mean that I condense the timeline a little bit in 8 to finish it instead. So it will be what it will be. Yes, Antecedents 3 will be coming after Heavenly Chaos. So it will be Binding Words 11, Aether's 8, Heavenly Chaos 1, Antecedents 3, Lux Voice 8, Aether's 9, and then just cycle through again. So, watch One Punch Man. That's what 12 million strength looks like. Probably accurate, but he doesn't go 12 million strength all the time. He's learned to modulate that to a degree, because otherwise the planet would break every single time he punches anything, and it doesn't. He has moderated his strength down in some cases. I talked to ACX at 20 books. They did say that they are making a very concerted effort to have a faster turnaround. And they have done so, but sometimes, especially like during the holidays, the end of the year holidays, things back up on them. There are things going on with Amazon and Audible and possibly ACX that are wait and see moments. So, but overall, ACX has improved over the last couple of years compared to what they were. I get bacon with dinner tonight because Hunter chicken. Yes, I do. And that got put up because my moderator is like, give him something pleasant to think about. And my girlfriends were like, we want to make him happy after he mentally drains himself all day. So I get bacon with dinner tonight. So, I mean, I'm not complaining. I do not complain over properly cooked bacon. I will complain over improperly cooked bacon. I'll probably still eat it, but I would probably be like, it could be better, but I would still eat it as long as it was cooked. I mean, I'm not going to eat uncooked bacon. I'm just going to put that out there before anyone thinks about challenging me on that point, guys. I'm not getting food poisoning just to enjoy the bacon. Okay. I mean, I have limits. I don't want to be utterly miserable afterwards. Oh, hang on. Nah, there. Serenia Cat says Aethers has the best side character. I wonder which side character this person could be talking about. Maybe an archivist? Just maybe. Just, a thought. The out of some of the funniest bloopers, and there are a lot of them, Outlaw. This one from book 2 of Aether's book 2, the blooper of Yuki going off on Jen to get the fuck off my man bitch, still makes me laugh. Because going into book 2, I was like, it could just be Greg and Yuki. I'm waiting to see what my characters say. And then book 2 came along, and Jen joined in, and I was like, okay, well, that's a thing. And then more in book 2, and then into book 3, and I was like, okay, so that's a thing. Okay, guys, cool. Obviously, I am still waiting for that I wrote a romance and not a harem, because back in the day, Alpha World, when I wrote Alpha World originally, I was like, it'll be Albrecht and Stacia, and that'll be good. That'll be fine. That'll be. She's a succubus. God damn it. Should have thought about that. Which is why we end up with the smaller harem of Alpha World, because my characters tell me what they do, and I don't dictate to them really. So I have made a firm point. If any other one of my main characters goes off and fucking shawns it up with 12 staff members, no. I'm taking them aside, breaking out the fucking clue by 4, and we will go back and rewrite that chapter. I am not letting that shit fly again. With Sean, it makes perfect sense because Sean. No. We are not going to have a 22 wife harem again, if I can help it. I have to caveat myself. Heavenly Chaos is going to be a triad. It is going to be 2 women, 1 main character. That's it. And it's a slow burn harem, so get prepared for slowness there. Oh, fucking God. Some days my characters, some days. How do you get all your characters' names? Do your characters tell you to use other resources? Depending on the character, like the main character, their names. Pardon me. Main character names are always there. They're just there. Normally main love interest, always there. Every once in a while, a main side character will show up. Light Shield, known as Light Shield, known as Light Shield, known as Light Shield. I needed his first name for a scene because an old friend in Hemet was going to address him informally. And that's where I break out my big book of names. Okay, I need a name here for Light Shield. It's going to be kind of related to like his grandfather, who he was partially named after, which was Lionel. So I need something along the lines of Lionel that isn't Lionel, which is why we had Linus. It was Linus Lightshield. So, but I have a big book of names for those moments. Hey, Paul, welcome back. If that's the case, how did you get the pre-order for Antecedents 2? Easy, that's through Podium. Antecedents, I signed with Podium. Me and Andy signed a contract with Podium for Antecedents. That is why there is a pre-order for that. If I had not gone with Podium and whatnot, you guys would have had that book out as audio a month ago. And that's the downside of working with a publisher. It goes on their schedule. So that is also why there is a pre-order. So there you go, guys. Now you know. The cat is out of the box. Cat is out of the bag, honestly. It was buy a pig in a poke, find the cat in the bag. But if nobody knows how those sayings came around. That is why, because you would get sold a pig in a poke, which was supposedly a pig in a bag, and then you would open it up to find the pig, and you'd actually let the cat out of the bag because it wasn't the pig after all. Sometimes trivia is just trivia, and once it's in your head, you can't get rid of it. So, reasons. There you go. I have inflicted it upon you all. Congratulations. I end up trimming my beard at around 2 inches and resetting it under a half an inch. I'm too lazy to make a beard oil routine to keep it from getting annoying any longer. I don't mind this getting longer. This down here. This never gets in my way, doesn't get in my eyes, doesn't get in my food, blah 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 blah. The stuff here on the sides, if it gets long enough, will come around and get into my eyes. No, that's why this all gets trimmed down. I am slowly been trying to grow this out. I've told my girlfriends that if I can get it straight and sitting and it comes down to, like here, then they can braid it. And so they have been trying. Primal Hunter has audio coming out on the 21st. I think that's the thing. I think pretty sure. Hang on. I'm going to grab my phone, something I almost never do during a live chat. And okay, Primal Hunter is the series that my friend Sean told me about, and I think I'm somewhere in book 2 currently. It's been out apparently forever, and I just have not read it. It takes somebody I trust telling me, "Hey, go read this series," for me to do so. And there are limited, like, a dozen, maybe 2 dozen people that if they tell me this is worth your time, I put it in my reading list and I make time for it. And Sean told me that one. Um, Bill, um, you all might have seen him around various discords. He has his Curmudgeon's Corner blog where he says things. He's the one who told me about Vixen Warbride, and it like I said, I love that series. So the fact Primal Hunter has another book coming out on audio is great. I'm on like book 2, and then when Beware of Chicken drops, I'll stop Primal Hunter. I'll read Beware of Chicken, and then I'll read He Who Fights with Monsters, and then I'll read Vixen Warbride, and then I'll probably get back to Primal Hunter. I dislike stopping books in the middle of a book to read another book, but if I have an established series that I really enjoy, I will do that. So I think Beware of Chicken is on the 21st, so it's like a week away, and I'll stop at that point to go read it. Told you about Iron Prince. I believe it was Malk on his server that told me about Iron Prince. And I loved the first book, and then we waited 3 years, and I really enjoyed the second book, and I really hope it's not 3 more years for book 3. Supposedly he's already started writing book 3, so hopefully it doesn't end up being 3 years again. So wait and see. Shank, I understand your frustration about Fight Town 2 having been the end of that. I tried to reach out to Hondo when he was stepping away from Harem because I would have paid him some to maybe help push for a Fight Town 3 to get just a little more out of it and then let him, get because he was planning more. Fight Town 2 had a okay endpoint, but we all know it wasn't the endpoint. So I totally would have kicked him some money to help like cover costs to make it worth him writing book 3. And if anybody talks to the man, because I only know his pen name of Hondo, if anybody talks to the man personally, you know him, you communicate with him in ways that I have never been able to. You can pass that along. I would have this conversation with him. I really loved what he did with Fight Town. The problem being it was Harem and it was a boxing simulator lit RPG, which makes it much more narrow fan base. The more you narrow something down, so like fantasy, broad fan base, it's fantasy. Okay, now lit RPG, okay, that's a narrower fantasy, right? But okay, still decent. Okay, now it's apocalypse lit RPG fantasy. Okay, now that's going to narrow it down. It's going to widen it a little bit, but it's mostly going to narrow it down. Now it's just elven apocalypse lit RPG fantasy, and that's what happens. Um, as far as I know, he stopped writing Harem entirely. Went off to other pastures under his other pen names. But I would totally have that conversation with him if he ever came to me. I reached out to him a couple of times when he said he was walking away, and I never heard back from him, which I'm really sad about. I understand though. Sometimes if the money's not there and that's how you make your living, you got to do what you got to do. Big Trucker, Lux voice audio is going to get recorded in February because I am pushing to get Binding Words audio recorded in December. So the end of the series wraps up for everyone as close together as possible, which means if she records it in December, it'll be out like early February as audiobook. So you'll only end up waiting like a month between instead of like 4 months between. And I think that's a little better overall than pushing for Lux Voice 7 audio. It is purely a selfish reason. I talked to Annie about it. She said if that's what I want to do, great, let's do it. And that is what I am looking for. I would much rather see the audio for Binding Words come out closer to it because it's the end of the series. Uh, do 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 do. I think that's 21. So yeah, I'm 20 minutes back. That's not terrible. But is there a reason you don't have Twitch monetized? Because Leo, I don't do enough with Twitch to make it worth the process of becoming monetized. You have to become a partner or whatever it is. You have to have streamed so many days in a row for so many hours in a month and so on and so forth. And I only use it for these. I only get on and do the live chats once a month. And those by themselves is not enough to become a subsidiary or partner or whatever the fuck Twitch calls them. Um, and honestly, I wouldn't ask you guys to subscribe and give me money here. If you wanted to give me money, go to Patreon because at least you get something out of it there. So, uh, does he have a hot tub? No, I don't know. I do not have a hot tub, and I would feel very, very self-conscious about being shirtless in a hot tub while talking to you guys. I'll be honest. Now, if it was me and Andy topless in a hot tub talking to you guys, that's a whole different kettle of fish. Timus made it in time. Loved Rail Aid Plans. Very nice book in the Lux Voice series. Thank you, Timus. I appreciate that, sir. I'll go ahead and throw you up there. Yay! I loved what I did with Rail Aid Plans for audio files. The audio is gonna be pushed out a little bit more. I apologize, but I really, like I said, I really want to get Binding Words audio done first, if possible. Uh, Whenever one of your books comes out, it's all I listen to for 2 or 3 days, and maybe listen to it again 2 or 3 days, and that's totally fine, Outlaw. Um, I have no problem. When the audio, I go back and listen to an audiobook on my morning walks when I'm writing the next book in the series. So like I couldn't do that going into Aether's 8 because Andy hadn't recorded. We don't have Aether's 7 audio out on Audible, but like what's the next one? I'll be able to do that too. It'll be Antecedents 3. When I go to write Antecedents 3 on my morning walks, I will be listening to Antecedents 2. I'll be listening to MX Hub when I take those walks every morning while I write Antecedents 3. And that's just because it helps keep me fully grounded in the characters. Then listening to Andy is never a bad thing. I'll take my ban hammering now, please. I know that I'll be upset with ending just because it's ending, and I'll be vocal about it. No spoilers, though. As long as you're not spoiling far, it's fine. Anybody who goes to fucking spoil a goddamn thing, I will toss them off of every goddamn social media platform I can. I do not tolerate that. Now, if you're going to be kind about it, you're going to make sure there are spoiler tags, and it's not just right in people's faces. I'm a little more lenient about that. The first week, I'm not at all. The first week a book comes out, when someone's like, "Hey, here's the spoiler tag," and then here's the spoiler, I still toss most of those because it's been a week. Give it time. And anyone who doesn't use a spoiler tag, I will toss it right away because that's just stupid. That's wrong. Just no. Okay, I get bacon, which we talked about. I love bacon. Bacon is always good. Have you given out much context on what Heavenly Chaos is going to be about, or is it still under wraps? Not a lot, Mesra. It is going to be lit RPG cultivation. It will touch on mental health. These are the things I have said. I have mentioned just recently there are going to be bloodlines is going to be part of it. There's not a whole lot I want to divulge currently. If you want to see the blurb for it, the blurb for book 1 is currently on my Discord server under the Heavenly Chaos channel. It is pinned to that channel, so you can go and look at the blurb of it. And the Skippy is known right in book 1, right at the start. It's actually even mentioned in the blurb. Not hiding them. It's not going to be a Skippy Carver where you guys had no idea about Skippy until well down the road. But that is all I've really given out about the series so far. I am going to be working with the artist probably in the next week or two to get the cover art started for Heavenly Chaos. I have a very, very simple. I call it simple. It's not. It's going to be complex as fuck. I have a simple concept, probably hard design for what I want the book one cover to be, and that's going to be the Soul System, which is how things play out. And it'll make sense when you read the book, and I think the cover will look amazing that way. Coins and shirts are going to be pushed back a little bit because I did coins for Resurrection Quest. I got, I think, 200 of them still because people don't really ask for the resurrection coins. And I don't want to have another one of those situations. So I will not be doing shirts and or coins until after I see how book one does. At that point, then I will be looking at the merch that I give out or that you can buy from Redbubble. So, has there been a time when your characters did something that made you cringe and think, no, don't do that? Yeah, I talked about that this entire live chat. That was Sean on the staff. God damn it. The only other time it's been that bad has been when I wrote Apocalypse Gate the first time, and Alvin decided he wanted to try to be a nice guy paladin instead of the lovable asshole that he was supposed to be. And then I rewrote the book. So fuck you. When you're supposed to be an asshole, be an asshole. God damn it. The whole tone of book one was drastically different than what I wanted the series to be. And I think only Sean currently has like the copy of that version of it still. And it's probably buried in his email somewhere. So this is dinner. This is what I am looking forward to here shortly, guys. So you'll understand where I am hungry. And I think we have another episode of NCIS. That is, we are currently on season like 10 of NCIS on our rewatch. When we finish NCIS, we have, oh damn, I don't know how many other series that we'll pick one out of, and then start the process of going through it. Paul Vaticavich, you cannot name your character as one of the best side characters. That is Serenia's job when she talks about the archivist. Greg didn't learn Sean's lesson. No, because Greg's has been a gradual accumulation, and as people know, for those who've read book 7, there was no new wife mentioned at all. In book 6, there was no new wife mentioned at all. I've made a point of this, guys. There are, I know where that cap is, where Aether's wives numbers are set for the rest of the series. What he does when the series ends, not responsible. And for anyone wondering if Elsa will ever be a wife, no. I had somebody mention that to me the other day, and I'm just like, no, he's not marrying the girl he sees as a daughter. It's not happening. Yes, the original Aether had over 100 wives, and it is mentioned that happened over his lifetime, the lifetime of a god. Greg is not ending up with 100 wives all at once. How many did you picture with Sean? Originally, when I wrote book 1, it was a toss-up. Once again, I have tried a few times to write like a monogamous relationship book, and it was going to be, okay, is it going to be Fiona or Mina? It could go either way. Fiona was vastly winning in that race, and then Sean brought her back to life, and then we had book 2. I was like, okay, it's going to be the two of them. Great. That's fine. And then Ryan and Ida happened, and it was like, okay, and it kind of spiraled from there. Once again, After Action Reporter, I have no idea. I have started most of my series with, well, it could just be a romance, or something will happen, and across the board, something has always happened. I have through book one, when things are happening for Heavenly Chaos, I have not seen a spiral, and I will not see a spiral. So, uh, you know that you stated it will be a triad. There's no way it'll stick to that. Actually, Eve, I have finished book one. I know the characters. I know how the characters think. I know how the characters act. They have divulged their souls to me. I do not see a point for those three where that will deviate. So I'm fairly certain it's going to stick. How long for fooded? Okay, so I have been told 10ish minutes, so I should probably um try to try to skim through a little more. I always thought that "Don't let the cat out of the bag" was sailors getting flogged. I mean, it could be another alternate outlaw. I always heard it come from Pig and a Poke. So, Primal Hunter is really good. You Fight Some Monsters releases. Iron Prince, Burrow Chicken is on the 21st. I'm well on my way to a beard like what you are shooting for, like having it long enough to run my hands through. Like I have that habit just for this, so I understand. Based on the book of AR, I feel like Jill and Greg are family because we never know Greg's mother's last name, which is strange because his dad should know the name. She might never have told him. You guys, you guys sometimes miss the very obvious. If if you see someone and you fall madly in love with them, and you get married right away, especially with the society that was in place that is built around that idea, maybe she's just like, my family doesn't matter to me. So, would I ever use a pen name? Probably not. I probably wouldn't use a pen name either. Um, they're my stories. I will take full credit and the hate associated with them. I understand why some authors use them, especially people who feel like they might be singled out because of who they are as individuals. But for myself, no, they're mine, and I've stated that from the very beginning. These are my stories. I'm very proud of them. I am not going to use a pen name. Uh, do you ever have the audio started before the book finally releases? We have not yet to this point. It is a chance with Binding Words. Because, like I said, my current release date for Binding Words is the 23rd of December, and she's normally on her winter break at that point, the last like week of the year when she takes the Christmas and New Year's off. There is a very good chance it'll happen this time, but that is specifically because I am hoping to not have you guys wait too terribly long on that. I don't know if you saw it on Facebook, but I laughed pretty hard when I noticed that you snuck in a second Skippy in Luck's voice. You mean Gildan? That's not a Skippy. That was a totally different name, and that totally happened in Apocalypse Gates as well. So, Sol system, with or without Pluto as a planet? Ah, you're thinking of the wrong Sol, Big. It is a cultivation series after all. What did Alvin do to change the whole thing? He was like, let's stick around and help these people. It was a completely different story. In that one, Gothi was not 18. He was doing the correct thing and waiting for her to reach of age and so on and so forth. And it will never see the light of day. So Will you ever consider posting the AG lawful stupid files? Nope, probably not. I actually said I'd have to get them back from Sean at this point. I didn't keep that file. That was 6 years ago. Before I was like, okay, I need to hold on to some of this stuff. No children comes wives. Yeah, okay, got it. Strugels, I'm sorry to hear that. It got posted on Discord and on Facebook and on Twitter. Discord actually has the events tab, and we try to make sure we always post like when the next live chat is. So the next live chat, December 15th, 10 a.m. Pacific time. There's a reminder on Discord that it's going to be coming up as well. Just to try to help people. Let's go cook. So, hey, now I've reached the end of things. Okay, I've reached the end of all comments. So, I have to do quick conversions here in the UK. I think it's like 7 hours difference. So like 10 a.m. here, 10 a.m. here is like 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. in the UK. So, oh yeah. So for the people who I mentioned, I have another mailing list short. I'm having it gone over by the editor. I'm going to attach it to the mailing list and send it off to anyone who's already part of the mailing list. And then it'll be the auto send for anyone who then joins the mailing list in the future. I have talked to Andy. If she gets the time before the end of the year, when everything's recorded, if she has the time, and it might or might not happen, about her going ahead and doing an audio version of the short story that I would then also send out with the mailing list. It's not 100% guaranteed she's going to do it, but it was mentioned. But for those people who are on the mailing list who are wondering, there is a updated short story, which is the only place I do like crossovers. So this short story features Xander, Sean, Gregory, and Doc, because those are the current 4 main characters. The first one was, of course, Dumadin, Albert, Sean, and Alvin. So if you have not joined the mailing list and you haven't seen the original crossover short story, you should do so. You can go to shinovenbooks.com and sign up for the mailing list. So but that is it, guys. Food is being pulled off the stove. I can hear it. So thank you all for coming. I will see you in December. If you are one of the winners, remember to check Twitch messages tomorrow evening, because by then I should have the winners listed. Okay. Bye, y'all.